All right, welcome to my shop. We're going to build a robot. We got a welder, we got a drill press, we got a bandsaw, we got a bunch of tools and parts. We got some examples. We're going to build a robot, and you're going to fight it. So this is where we start. We took our frame design from the computer, and we put it on to print. And the first thing we're going to do is mark down some of these measurements nice and squared. Now we're going to find ourselves a wheel. This is a solid insert 12-inch wheel by American Airless. So we've already made our basic mock-up of our frame based on the template that I kind of roughly sketched out here. And I went ahead and I checked my measurements. I drilled 2 holes in this part of the frame so that I can attach my motor and bolt the wheel on. And then we're going to start putting some more parts on. Okay, so now we got the pivot point going here. I've inserted a horizontal bar to keep this rigid and have a point to start putting in brackets, and then I've created a support for the motor. So we got this section done. We also inserted a pivot rod, which we're going to use to connect the other half. Okay, so now we got the other parts templated. And I'll be working to build this center section on right here. Pretty much just building it, sitting in place. All I gotta do is put the other motor on. All right, we got the 2 halves put together. I've made these areas. All I gotta do is weld in another support here, and we can start building the upper horizontal bars. It's like 90 degrees out here. All my friends are out wakeboarding and dirt biking, and I'm stuck in here welding. Isn't that terrible? Okay, so we got the basic portion of the frame together. Now I'm going to go through, take my measurements, and make sure I kept it all square before I do any final welding. All right, so we got our basic frame mocked up, and we can now kind of see what our batteries look like laying inside of there. So our calculations are correct. I have a couple different ways I wanted to lay these batteries. And then lay another set like this. This battery configuration also allows me to put the armor at an angle that we talked about. If I used a bigger square battery, this would be a lot tougher to try and house in a nice compact space. So we got the batteries where we think we kind of need them. We're going to go with the control system, which I've been using on the other bot. It's a Isaac 32 system. It's very safe. It's a transceiver. It's not a standard remote control system. This is going to be the actual controller, which we're going to squeeze in the robot. It's got 16 ports. I can put 16 of these speed controls in the robot. This is a pretty tight space here, but I think if I move the batteries forward like that, I'll actually be able to get this control system wired in place. Okay, so lastly, we got our speed controls. This is a Thor 883, 175 amp speed control. This is what's going to drive each motor of the robot. I haven't left a whole lot of room for these because they are pretty tiny. So I'm just going to figure out a way to put a mounting bracket inside of here that holds them right in this position. This is the Isaac 32 remote system that goes in the robot. This is where we're going to connect each individual speed control. We programmed this with a standard laptop computer and put a special code in to make sure no one's on the same channel. Okay, we went from this to this. We got ourselves a nice frame. We got our motors mounted in. We got an actual working model that we can actually go through and start checking out some of the rest of the components. We got our batteries laid in here. We got the start of our electronics going. The next step is going to be to go ahead and make mounts for all these components. We're still not going to completely weld it yet until we know exactly which weapon we're going to use, because there's going to be some components that go in the center of here that are going to be very special to each particular type of weapon. So for now, we got the basics of it. We'll see you in a couple weeks.